Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, One Room Plug Guy. I hope you're well and thank you for joining me here today. So I want to bring you this video today. We're going to be going through my collection of plants and sort of what needs to happen with some of them. Some of them need a bit of TLC, some of them need to be repotted, some of them I don't like the soil they're in and so I will have to change that soil as well. Some of them are they're quite new, so they're still in their nursery pot. And then some plants that really are just not happy in my environment. So why don't we start with this one here, which is the Strelitzia trio style, which I have showed you before. Now this plant is looking really good. I only watered this today, so I usually tend to water it every 10 days. It is a Calitha. Yep, so there's no water in there, which is good. And as you can see, if I just pop this down, it's really bound now. So I'm thinking that this is going to need to be repotted at some stage. Looking really good. There's a few leaves that got dry, so I've actually had to tweak them off. But this is probably one of my favourite plants. I love the variegation. I love this really lovely pink colouring underneath. So this is probably in my top 10 plants. It's not a rare plant. Lot more on the market at the moment. So yeah, so definitely will be upscaling this pot at some stage. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. So this is my begonia polka dot, and as you can see, it's quite wide. I don't know if it's a bit leggy, but it's because it doesn't get as much light as I would hope, but I don't mind that. I am thinking of making it more of a higher begonia, but I haven't decided yet. I don't want this plant to be really wide because I don't have the room. So I find that I water this actually less than most of the others, maybe 2 to 3 weeks in the winter and maybe every 2 weeks in the summer. But I do have a water meter, so I do check it, but I do let it dry out between waterings. I flush it through with water, let it sit for 15 minutes in the bath or wherever you're watering it, and then I put it back on its place. Be careful when you're moving it. They do tend to not like being moved in the fact that the new leaves get knocked off quite easily. They do push out new leaves all the time, so don't worry about that. Now there were some cuttings I had, philodendron cuttings I had a couple of months ago that you saw that I brought to you. So these are them at the moment. They've had a few new leaves. So this is my Philodendron Pink Princess, still in the same pot. I haven't changed the pot, but we will be repotting this one soon. I need to water this. I don't like to re-water this too often. I am finding that the leaves do tend to get stuck when they're coming out, and I don't know if anybody else has this problem, and it's quite annoying. The Pink Princess was not my go-to plant. I actually wanted the White Princess, which is here, which I got from the same seller, and I'm loving this. This is its new leaf here. I'm finding that this needs more light, but this one's a bit dry, but I want to repot this. So I'm leaving it to dry so I can repot this. So I will be repotting these and we'll be bringing you that video in the next month or two, okay? I'll probably be recording it soon, but I don't want to obviously post all my videos in one go. Where would the fun be in that? Bringing my other philodendron. This is my Philodendron Sidori, doing so well. I'm so happy. Now I saw this on Plantarina, another YouTube channel. It was just this leaf when I first got it. It's in moss, propagated in moss. I haven't taken it out of the medium that it was in when I first got it. I tend to spray water on it every sort of 4 or 5 days because I don't have it in a container or anything. Sometimes I have poured water in to about sort of 1 centimetre at the bottom, left it there for not even a minute, and then put my hands over the top, let it out, and I'll do that sort of once a week. But this really needs repotting as well. So as you can see, it's got a new leaf coming through here. And I'm so excited. Now I can't decide whether I'm going to let this one climb or sort of trail over one of my shelves here, because Plantarina, she did have it trailing over and it looked fabulous. And I've got a lot of my plants on the floor already. But the thing about these type of plants, trailing plants, they want to go up and so the leaves will get bigger. If you let them hang down, the leaves will tend to be stay juvenile and you won't get the big leaf that you want. So I need to weigh up my options. In the long run, obviously, I can always take a cutting and have both, one on the floor and one trailing. Now, moving swiftly on to some Monsteras I have, I've got these in some water here. Now, I've had these in water for a while. These cuttings were taken from my Monstera Albo, which is beside me here. Let's put this down here for a minute and I'll bring you this mother plant first. I have showed you this before. Now, this Albo, there's two in here. One is the lighter one is this one here, and then there's this one here, which is not. And this one here is the mother plant of the cuttings I'm going to show you in a minute. The mother plant started to go really green and the variegation started to disappear. So I took it off and popped it in water, the cutting in water. The next leaf that came out, it was still green. It was still very, very slightly, and I'll show you in a minute, as I say. And so I cut it back even further. Now it's had this leaf, it has got variegation, as you can see. Now on the other side, you've got the lighter plant, the lighter Monstera, with lots of variegation. But I find that this one is not really growing, the leaves not getting bigger, and the leaves are slightly deformed in the fact they're not completely a love heart, sort of a heart-shaped leaf. So a number of things. It could be to do with the fact it's not getting enough light, which, as I said before, I do have to have some plant light with the added extra of the window behind me. Now, on summer days, this window does get really, really light because it's a south-facing window. But in the summer, I have lots of trees around, it gets dark. Also, I'm thinking that I'm going to have to repot this and maybe separate both the plants. Or I might just take a new cutting from the lighter Albo and start again. But I haven't decided. But as I say, I will bring those things to you, because this is what this channel is about, when I do them. But comments down below what you think I should do with this. I don't want loads of Monsteras here. I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4 Monsteras in one room, and cuttings. I've got some cuttings as well, as I say. So, you know. So as I say, these are the cuttings I have, and there's two in here. One, this is the second cutting I took, because this is the leaf that came out. And it's got really a lovely set of roots here, and it looks like it's just about to start producing an offshoot, so a new leaf. But I might give that away. I don't think I'm going to. I will put it in soil, but I might give it away. And then obviously this one here is a really big. Let me take it out very gently. You can see it's done really well. But part of me wants to keep these in water propagation. But we shall see. There's 2 plants I could have from here. So there's actually 3 plants here. But because they're not very, very variegated, for me, it's a bit of a waste of time. Oh. Try and put it. You've seen this one a lot, and this is one of my favourites. So this is my Philodendron Narrow Escape. She's got rather large, as you can see. She's a bit wobbly. I don't know if I need to repot her, maybe push her into the soil slightly deeper. I don't really want to touch her. She's doing really well. And some of these lower leaves now are starting to get really flimsy. So I'm thinking that I'm going to cut some of those ones off. It will help the plant to rejuvenate and push out some bigger leaves. This Philodendron Narrow Escape has actually budded and flowered twice, but I have pinched them out. But so the last leaf was a slightly bit smaller because it was giving loads of energy to the flower. This is like a normal philodendron. It does like very well draining soil, and yeah, I usually tend to water it once every 1 week to 10 days. In the sink, throw loads of water through it, let the water go straight through, and then leave it for 15 minutes. Some philodendrons don't like that. Some philodendrons I find they like being watered until the water you just see start to drip out and then stop. So it's really a matter of trial and error. If not, try that method first, water your plant, let the water soak through until you see the first few drops and then stop watering. Some of my others, like this one, I let the water run straight through, and when I see that, I usually about 2 pints of water, then I stop. Now this is a new one for you. I've left the tab on because it's a new one. I cannot remember which plant it's called, so I've left the tab on. I'm not loving her. She was a plant that I bought because I wanted another one of its maker. This is a rubber plant, still in the nursery pot. I do want to get it out of here. It's quite dry because it is winter at the moment, so I'm sort of not watering my plants as much. It's a rubber plant, and it is called a Ficus elastica bellis. Now, the reason I'm not in love with this plant, the colouring is gorgeous, this like pink with the variegation. It just doesn't really, I would say it's, what's the word I'm looking for? The colours, it's like you're seeing it through a sort of opaque window. It's like the colours, you've had one coat of paint and you still need to do another coat of paint, or nail varnish. It's like you've had one coat of nail varnish and you need another. So I'm two minds about this one at the moment. I love it, don't get me wrong, but if there's another plant that comes along that needs space and I don't have space, this will be one of the first ones to go. Maybe one of my family will have it, but we shall see. But I love the pink rib of the stem behind on the undercarriage of the leaf, and the more light you give it, the more variegation this is probably going to get. In darker rooms you're going to get smaller leaves and slightly more of the dark green as you see here. But if I do repot this, I will bring that to you as well. Any comments down below or questions, feel free to comment, and I will get back to you on them. Now I've got a Monstera in the corner, but you've seen that it's just a normal Monstera. This Monstera is the same, so we've got this Monstera here. It did have 3 plants in. I've taken out one of them, so there's only 2 in here now. It's doing a lot better. I do think it needs repotting. As you can see, it's in a fairly big pot. There is 2. I think I might even make it so there's only 1 plant in here. It does sit under the grow light as well. It's just pulled out this new leaf here. I don't think my Monsteras are ever going to be really big, which is a shame because I don't get enough light, but I'm happy with that they are. As long as they don't get smaller, I'm fine. So moving on, we have the Bird of Paradise. Now this is the white version here. Now I did have a bit of problem where I overwatered, so I had some damage to the leaves, but I've kept that off. I did cut these 2 off because they were unsightly. It's produced this leaf in the last 2 months, which it's a gorgeous colour, isn't it? Look at that. Oh. Now, this is in a plant pot that I put in. Now, I don't really like it in, I've got this stuff. It's in this plastic pot. I don't really want it in this plastic pot. It has got a baby shoot coming here. I don't know if that's going to survive. These do get incredibly big. And they love the sun. There's not enough drainage in this pot, so I think in the next 6 months I will repot it again. It won't like it, but I think it will like it being repotted more than it likes the soil that it's in. So when this one comes along, I will probably do a time-lapse video for you, because I've got one over here which we'll see in a minute. But yeah, so loving this one. This is the white version. The orange version, the leaves are more like oars. They're really sharp and pointed. I don't like those leaves so much, and that's why I chose the white version. I do prefer the orange flowers, but this won't probably flower, not where we are. Unless by some miracle it sits under the grow light for a long time, and then I might get some flowers. But I haven't got it for the flower, I've got it for the leaves. Okay. Now this is the first plant don't remember. I can't remember the name, and I'm going to put the name underneath. It's new. I got it from IKEA recently. I did do a video to post about my IKEA trip, but it was really bad. The plants they had were just naff. I can add, if anybody wants to see, I can post the before and the after, maybe just a few shots inside. I think I still have it. I've got loads of orchids. I've got 4 orchids and this plant here. So yeah, so this plant here, yeah, I love it. It's the same family as this one. Okay, so this is a smaller version. I've had this for a year. I love the colour of this. These really pink leaves, and the more light you give it, the more the leaves go pink. It does flower, so be aware of that. The flowers are not very nice. So yeah, so this will need repotting because it's looking a little bit worse for wear in the soil department. And I think I'm going to put this on the shelf so it hangs out. So this, the more light you have, the more pink you'll get, okay? The variegation on this is just amazing. That's why I chose it. I'm not like, oh my God, over raptured with it. But at the moment, it's in my collection. If something comes along that I just cannot live without, it probably will go, but it's just beautiful. And it's so easy to look after. It needs watering. I haven't watered it. I'm being very, very careful because I'm an over-waterer. I just love watering plants. And obviously it's not what they want. You get root rot. But this one will be watered today because, and we've just got some roots coming out. So it's actually quite big for the pot. So that's its nursery pot. So we'll probably have to repot that at some stage. Now I've got my pothos here, which is devil's ivy. And now this was growing up the wall on a cord, and I loved it there. But the leaves weren't getting any bigger, and I'll put the video up there so you can see it. But I don't like these hanging. I mean, they look great, but I want the leaves to get bigger. So I've just wrapped it around here for now. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do, but I will be taking some cuttings of this because there's only about 5 plants in here. Unwinding it, we'll do a propagation video for you. And then put it around a pole. If you want to see me wrap it around a pole, stay underneath, or if you want to see one hanging, I think I'll do both. It says I don't want to have too many plants in the same plant. I want to have variety. But I love these when you see them in shops and you can see them in the really big leaves. I mean, in the wild, they can get as big as these. You know, the leaves are like 3-4 times as big as this. They like climbing on, obviously, up tree trunks. And I've seen pictures in climbing up people's houses and ruining the plaster on the front of the house. Yeah, so I haven't decided, but it's not going to stay like this. Absolutely not. So there will be some change here, and I will bring that to you as well. So I've showed you this before. This is my Philodendron Verrucosum cutting, and she's doing really well. And she's quite a lot, and I haven't taken out of here. We will be soon. She is very small because she really needs soil now. But I'm going to pot this up. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one. I might give this one away to a friend of mine. So this was propagated in moss. Now there is a video. If you look back, we've got the propagation and the cutting of the Philodendron Verrucosum, which is this one here. So this is the baby. This is the mother. Oh, sorry, Percy. But I'll probably do an overall Philodendron repotting. Or maybe I won't, because that's 4 videos. I've got 4 different philodendrons that need repotting. Why would I put them all in one video? I mean, why? I want you to come back. So you've seen these before. These are philodendrons in here, and these have been here for quite a while now. So I don't know if you can see. Hopefully you will be able to, and I'll put a picture here so if you can't see them. So this is a Florida ghost, and this is a Florida ghost, but as you can see, it is literally hanging on by a thread. I don't think this is going to survive. I really don't think this is going to survive. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not worried. You know, it just means that I do have this one still. I'm hoping this one will survive. If it doesn't, I'll just have to buy I'll probably buy an actual plant. But there's no reason why this shouldn't survive. It's got roots, really healthy roots, so this will probably be ready sooner rather than later to pot. And just want to give it really the best chance it can, because obviously I did buy 2 and I bought 2 because I just knew, I didn't know anything. I just bought 2 because I was just being safe, and I'm glad I did. Now, on the El Chco front, there's a picture above, which I'll put on there. I got this as a cutting, it had a massive leaf, and then suddenly the root rotted. And so I cut the leaf off, even though there was nothing wrong with the leaf. I just knew that if I kept the leaf, I would not be able to put it in here because it was so big. And subsequently, I don't know if that's a root, is that a root? Wow. So subsequently, I've got these two shoots that have come off. And I haven't actually seen this, I'm so excited. I can see there's a little root coming off this one here, off the actual very small, and there's actually a root coming off here. So it looks like I might have two El Chcos. Very excited, because I've not tried to look at this. So this has been in here for about a month, I haven't even opened it. So I'm going to pop that back in there. That's still got a long way to go. If I can get those two shoots another inch bigger, inch longer, then I can slightly surgically remove those if they have enough roots from the main trunk. Or I might just slip the whole thing in soil and have two plants coming up. That would probably be the best thing to do, because once you start cutting things off, you're giving trauma to the plant and you're increasing the risk of infection, because obviously you've sliced through the plant. So this is the one that I'm really on tenterhooks with, because it could go either way. Okay, I'm just going to put that very gently on the top.